Welcome to Medical Marijuana and Wellness. Today's topic is NORML, a great organization that's doing a lot for medical cannabis. And I have with me tonight a gentleman who is very instrumental in making NORML happen and making cannabis happen here in the state of Florida, Chris Cano. Chris, welcome.
Hey, Mark, happy to be here. Hello, everybody.
Great. You're very involved in NORML. You're not only here in the state of Florida, but also on the national level, right?
Correct. I serve on the national board of the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, and serve as executive director of our Suncoast Chapter, which stretches from the Gulf Coast to the Space Coast in Florida.
That's great. So, Chris, what is NORML? So tell me, I've seen the words, you've seen the name, you see them active. Who NORML equals? Let's put it that way.
Well, the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws has been around since 1970. You could say that we've been on the front lines since the war on drugs has been launched to protect cannabis consumers. NORML's mission is to move public opinion sufficiently to legalize the responsible use of marijuana by adults and to serve as an advocate for consumers to ensure they have access to high quality marijuana that's safe, convenient, and affordable.
Right. And I think a lot of what you're doing is also making sure that, these crazy convictions for cannabis, really the laws and the regulations for that get overturned, because that's just sheer lunacy. But why, if I'm a medical cannabis user in the state of Florida, why would I pay attention to them? What do I get from it?
Well, people often make the mistake that reform is a done deal when they gain access to medical cannabis in their state. Yet we're still seeing issues around discrimination of cannabis patients, where they can medicate, how they can medicate, and many are still precluded or even fired from jobs in legal states such as Florida. So NORML continues to draft and push legislation that puts you, the consumer, first. We currently have several bills in the state of Florida, one in particular to protect you from discrimination in medical practice, such as in pain management plans, to prevent you from getting kicked out of a nursing home, or to be kicked off an organ transplant list simply because you use illegal medicine that the state has sanctioned. In addition, we're continuing to push for our employment protection bill in the state of Florida. We do not believe that if this is a legal medicine in Florida, you should be precluded from a job or fired from a job because you use this as a medicine. It's just not right, and that's why we continue to fight, and that's why we need you to be a member and to join us in this fight to make it happen.
Yeah, I think you made a good point. I think a lot of people just assume that it's there, and it's there because there's been a lot of hard work done by a lot of people, especially in your organization. Your organization and others, but you've been kind of the vanguard, kind of the leader in the whole area. So I think it's important that you people understand, not only did you get it on the table, but you're helping to correct it, because I know the state is still not the friend of the consumer. And they're making it harder for doctors, for example, and they're making it harder for patients to be able to get their medical marijuana.
Indeed. I mean, people still think that arrests don't happen, but the fact is that if you don't have your cannabis sealed and in the original dispensary packaging and treated like an open container where it's in your trunk and you don't have access to it, you can still be jailed and go to jail for it, which is why we continue to work with local governments to decriminalize in various municipalities and counties throughout the state of Florida through local ordinances. And so we need your help as a member. We need your time, your treasure, and your talent to join us in this fight at every level of government, including at the federal level, where we continue to push to make sure cannabis is no longer a controlled substance.
Right. I think that's important. So, Chris, you do a lot of great stuff. You're doing a lot of stuff right now that's just logical. And I know working with politicians is always a lot of fun. How do I join? If I'm going to become part of this, I mean, you're doing some great work. It's not necessarily something I do 8 to 5, but how do I get involved and help your organization?
It's real simple. You can go to suncoastnorml, NORML.org, and become a member today. Now, if you're not an active member of NORML, totally understand. We ask everybody to get in where they fit in. Your $25 a year in dues goes a long way to pushing our legislative agenda over the top, but it also provides our members with some great benefits. For example, discounts on doctor recommendations for their medical marijuana, as well as discounts at cannabis-friendly businesses that we've had partnerships with, and free access to our member events, which are a lot of great fun, and you can always check out on our website. Now, if you don't live in the state of Florida, you can go to NORML, normal.org, and visit our national website and find the chapter that's closest to you in your state and get involved there. Regardless of what state you live in this country, there's still work to be done.
And I think it's important to point out what you're looking at is the legal use of cannabis, whether that's medical or recreation. That's what you've been pushing for, and really something that really should be out there, because this is not a drug. It's a plant that acts as a medicine, has been misclassified for years, but more importantly, thousands of people can benefit from using it. And it's a matter of education, and it's a matter of getting it out there.
Absolutely. If you go to our website, we have tons of educational resources. We understand that this is a hot topic in many civic spaces, many civic groups, and even at the family table at Thanksgiving and various holidays. So and so got a medical marijuana card. It's new and exciting. The fact is that we believe that responsible adults should have safe, quality, and affordable access to cannabis, and we believe that all use of cannabis is medical, whether you have a doctor recommendation or not, because your state is an adult use state or not. To us, we want to continue to protect you, the consumer, and make sure that you're put first before profits.
I think that whether you're just trying to learn more about medical cannabis, whether you're trying to get educated, whether you're trying to understand the current issues, and also to find out how legal it is and what the laws are, I think NORML is a good organization to not only access the information, but potentially join. I think that $25 is well spent. And of course, you can get more involved in that. I have, and I think it's important to be able to support the organization. Chris, any final thoughts?
Well, we really appreciate you being a member, Mark. And again, we're only as strong as our membership. So we hope that today, those of you watching, go to suncoastnormal.org, that you become members, and that we walk away today a much stronger organization with your help. And finally, with your help, I'm hoping that in the upcoming year, we can push things over the top in the state of Florida and really create the patient-centric system that all of you deserve.
Yeah, and if you're not in the state of Florida, NORML.com, go there and you can find a state organization. I know that when I'm looking at what the laws are in the different states and the different regulations, you're a great resource for that. And I think that's really important.
And there's tons of fact sheets. There's tons of medical studies. We're always advocating for folks to get involved at the federal level, contact their senators and congressmen, and ask them to make the change that's necessary.
Right. I think it's important. Well, Chris, thank you very much. And we'll be posting, when we post this YouTube video, we'll post a lot of the links that we talked about today, and how to join the organization and how to contact us.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you all.
Thank you, Chris. We really appreciate it. Thanks.